My name's Rodney West. I'm a senior Atlassian consultant at ISOS Technology, and I'm going to be joined today by Andrew Yarrow, our Director of Engineering. We're going to be talking about the best way to implement Atlassian merge migrations. So, first thing I would say is, go to the ISOS site. And that's the very first thing, right? Inside of the ISOS site, we actually have a cloud resource center on the website. So, go to that link. You can find a lot of information there on the cloud. And it'll have links off to like webinars, blogs. It has a readiness quiz on, maybe how ready are you to move to the cloud at the moment? Or is that something you want to do? And the second thing I have here is we're doing another webinar on February 9th, 2021. It's 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And so I would say, go ahead and sign up for that on the page. And then, you can watch that webinar. You'll get some additional information on cloud migrations where we'll kind of go into a little more depth on them. So, one thing to keep in mind for the webinar, it is a free webinar. Basically, all ISOS webinars we do are free. So, just go ahead and sign up for it so that you're on the list. You get the notification whenever it runs. So the very first thing, and this is whether you're doing a merge migration or not, move off of all of the default schemes. That is one of the first things you should do in any Jira instance. Basically, and the reason you want to move off of those is because whenever you go ahead and do the migration, you may run into collisions and stuff with different instances coming together. It's one of the first things we look for whenever we're looking at your configuration. It's one of the things we advise right away. Hey, move off of this. The second thing is upgrade your tools, because when you go to the cloud, you're going to be going to the most recent version of the Atlassian tools, even though that version is different than what you may have on data center or server. It's still going to be closer to what is in the cloud as far as code base. So move everything to the most recent version. That's in any migration. The next thing is prioritize your projects in Jira. And this goes to that point where if you have to move, like let's say you can only have a downtime of like a weekend, you can't be down for days in the week, but it actually turns out that your migration is going to take more than 2 days. You're going to need to decide which projects need to move first. So prioritize the most important projects and find the owners of those projects. Even if somebody is listed as the project admin, they may no longer be with the organization. They may no longer be responsible for those projects. So you're going to want to have those people available and knowing the projects are going to be moving. Confluence, similar case, right? Make sure that you prioritize which spaces have to move first. The personal spaces have to move. Okay, which personal spaces? Which global spaces? And make sure you find who the current owner is for especially the global spaces. Personal spaces, the name of the person who has it. Identify that the people still work for the organization that have a personal space and it's still needed. After this, go through, identify your critical apps, right? What do you have inside of Jira? What do you have inside of Confluence that are third-party apps that you need in the cloud? Though all of those apps may not be available or the functionality may be different in the cloud. So identifying that early and then being able to then we actually will start doing gap analysis whenever we're actually doing the evaluation of what's going to take to move is very important, right? Because over time you may have apps that are no longer in use or being used by one project or one space. So that's very important because you're going to have to make decisions on what apps are we going to keep, and if we keep these, what complexity is this going to add into the migration? And then one of the other things that I run into a lot with doing the cloud migrations as a functional lead at ISOS is make sure if you have a risk management department or InfoSec department, make sure to contact them before you do the migration. The reason for this is the way these third-party apps work, they work differently on cloud than they do on server. Where the computation and where data may be transferred around is different, right? In server, it's all on your instance. In data center, it's all on your instance. In cloud, for the complex computations, those have to happen on third-party app vendor servers. And one of the places where I've seen a lot of apps get vetoed is by risk departments who go, wait a second, no, we can't have this data, or this vendor may not have some of the certifications that we're looking for whatever our compliance is. You're a financial organization, you have certain compliance, you're in education, you're basically different organizations have different compliance needs. And that's always good to find out early. It's a very bad thing to find out whenever you're going through and you're going, okay, we're ready for UAT, and then we're doing a couple weeks of UAT, and then we're going to be pushing to the cloud, and all of a sudden you have all of these weeks of work that are killed because somebody finally brings it up to the risk department that we're moving, and you have to change your whole approach. So that's one of the ones that is it's one that people don't think about a lot, but make sure to either have your risk or InfoSec team at least aware that you're going to be doing this, because there are things that they will have to review.
It's a great question, Rodney. So I think this can vary pretty significantly depending on a couple of different variables. The first of which being the number of instances being merged. Merge migrations can sometimes be 2 into 1, 3 into 1. You could have multiple server instances that currently exist in your organization that now have merging into one final destination, and the number of instances can have a significant change in the timelines of the overall migration effort. Within those instances, the number of issues and pages, it takes time to move each of those different components to the destination, whether it be cloud or on-premise. So just the length of time in rehearsals and the number of iterations we do to prepare for those migrations can be a factor as well. One of the other significant factors, especially when moving to cloud, is the number of customizations that you have in your environment. So that's anything that you've done to make it your own and useful for your team. So that can include custom fields, workflow steps, and in particular, different apps that your organization uses and relies on. Some apps have a really clean migration path that we use and follow along. Some don't, and it require a lot more effort to get the data and make sure that no data is left behind during those migrations. And I think this is one great place where the experience that ISOS has in merge migrations comes into play. A lot of the third-party apps, especially, we've had experience with in other migrations. We can bring that experience to bear, in future migrations and speed up the process. Thanks for joining Rodney and I as we discuss the best ways to implement Atlassian merge migrations. If you're looking to do this on your own, check out our website for a bunch of great resources. You can find that at www.isostech.com. Also, if you'd like more information on what your customized merge migration might involve and how long it would take, please reach out to us. We'd love to connect.